Okay, here we go then.
Hey, welcome to the episode.
Wait for me to sit down
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
hey, welcome to the episode.
What up, sports fans? This is oh man, I was about to say what I always say when I ever say that. You're watching the not my channel, sorry. You're watching SecondHand Sports, where we talk about, well,
Everything and anything.
whatever we feel like talking about when it comes to the world of sports. Yeah, we're still getting the hang of this. Just give us a break here.
Mostly wrestling.
Yeah. But, other stuff too. Well, alright. I'm Paulo Camacho, and
David DK Kim.
so, how do you want to start?
Well, first of all, that could be at the end, I guess. Whatever you want, whichever topic.
Let's talk about the 49ers, because, some stuff's been going down recently, and, I think
It should be an exciting season.
should be. I'm worried about a couple things, but we can get to that.
Are they real things, or like...
They're real things. Some not so real, but some of them are. So might as well just dive in. So let me first pose to you the question. Let's start out with something. Let's start out with a softball.
I'm gonna be you, and he's gonna pose me the question.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
And I will be you anyway.
So obviously, if you're a 49ers fan, you're excited as hell for Jimmy Garoppolo, franchise quarterback. Gave him a 5-year deal for $137 million.
He thinks he's better than Tom Brady.
Hey, look, we'll get to that.
Confidence.
But first,
anyway,
let's talk about this. The media has been following Jimmy Garoppolo around for quite a while, and
they have,
and they found him on a date with an adult film actress
in L.A.
And her name is. Do you remember her name?
I don't remember her name.
I don't either. That's okay.
I don't think that's important.
I don't really think it's important either. In any case, Jimmy G has said that, like, the media scrutiny around all of that, and just the microscope on his personal life as well as his professional life is a little intimidating. I mean, obviously, when you are the highest paid quarterback for about a day.
Face of the franchise.
Face of the franchise. Getting all this hype because of him. People talking about not just playoff appearances, winning the division, but maybe even getting to the Super Bowl after one full year.
I haven't heard that one, but okay.
There's some.
I believe it. I believe that those comments exist.
The hype train is whoa. So I want to get your thoughts on just the media covering Jimmy Garoppolo and hyping him up the way that he is, up to the point where it's almost like they're that cautionary tale of propping him up just to knock him down. What do you think?
All right. Maybe not all of you are going to agree with what I'm going to say, but as a Niner fan, who's been a Niner fan since the 90s or the 80s, I can say this. Great. A couple of years ago, Alex Smith could have literally dated 3 adult film stars, and no one would have cared. Really, no one would have cared. Now, the only reason anyone would have cared that Colin Kaepernick would have dated adult film stars is because of Jim Harbaugh. The fact that Jimmy G is getting the, I'm not even going to say Tom Brady treatment, he's getting the Joe Montana treatment right now.
Wow.
Should say one of two things. The media is starving for a great quarterback in the Bay. That might be true. Or 2, it's really nothing. Because here's the thing. As a Niner fan, I'm not worried about it. If this was a regular season, This is week 7, week 8, in the midst of a 4-game losing streak or something. Calling me worried. In the off season, though, as bad as the Niners have been the last couple of years, any coverage is good coverage, because then they're not talking about the thin receiving core, the rookies in the secondary. Are the running backs good enough to do what Shanahan wants to do? Can they actually win 9, 10, 11 games? They're not talking about that. And that's the fact, because Jimmy G, in the eyes of the media, we shall see other than that, but in the eyes of the media, he is the guy. And what happens to the guy? Everything that the guy does is under media scrutiny.
True.
You think Bernie Williams of the Yankees ever got reported on who he was dating? No. Derek Jeter did, though. So, I mean, unless the report is that Jimmy G is paying off these adult film stars for, like, child support or to hush them up or whatever, I'm not really worried about it. He's just dating in LA, basically, is what I like to say. He's just dating in LA. It's like dating in New York or Miami. She just happens to be an adult film star.
Okay. So here's what I think. All your points are valid, and I'm not even going to play devil's advocate because, the tired, boring, well, he's a role model for all the kids who follow the. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like in this day and age, I'm not sure that matters as much anymore.
You know why? Because if you're a parent and you can't explain to your child what's going on in that situation, and they feel the need to, I don't know what they're afraid of, like, you're a role model, right? So if I'm an athlete and I date an adult film star, somehow my fans are going to go watch adult films? Is that I'm saying, is that the fear? Is that the role model fear? Is that what it is?
I mean, I think the fear is, well, it's not something to really look up to. But that also says a lot about our society in terms of how they look at adult film stars.
That's true. And, like, here's the thing. It's only been reported that they're dating, right? Or not even dating.
They went on a date.
They went on a date that one night where the picture was taken. We don't even know whether or not. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie. He probably knew she was adult, but I'm saying, like, we don't know whether or not when they met that he knew that she was like an adult film star.
Yeah, I guess my main point is, he can live his life however he wants, and I'm sure that he understands. Especially watching Tom Brady all these years about the media scrutiny that comes with being a franchise quarterback. All I'm saying is, not necessarily to tread lightly, but just understand that you are in the spotlight, and don't forget that if you play poorly, if you have a bad game, if you have a bad play, people will use everything in their arsenal to throw at you to basically bring you down.
Here's the thing. I know Tom Brady has earned his immunity, if you will, based on the rings and the accolades and the stats.
I'm glad you said immunity and not GOAT title, because
no, I'm a Niner fan. Come on. I mean, I don't care if you agree with me or not. You can comment below if you want. But Joe Montana, man, like, anyway.
He's the greatest of all time. Joe Montana is the greatest of all time. None of this Tom Brady stuff.
Anyway. He's earned his immunity, and we forget, he dated Gisele Bündchen. Like, yeah, she's not an adult film star, but, like, we all praise that because, Mr. 7th round dad bod gets to date this, like, super glamorous,
Victoria's Secret model.
Victoria's Secret model, right? And I'm not slamming Victoria's Secret models, but, like, it's just semantics at this point when you really talk about it, because if Jimmy G, no offense Tom, looked like Tom Brady, we'd all be like, "Yeah, you're dating above your skis." Yeah.
Don't tell women that, because like Tom Brady he's kind of up there in terms of
he's dad bod. Hey,
bruh, no,
hold on.
I don't even know why we're talking about this.
You know what separates him and Trent Dilfer? 4 more Super Bowl rings.
Oh, for God's sake. I don't know, man. Like,
I'm not wrong.
No.
But am I right? Basically, that's the question, right?
I don't think you're right.
But I'm not wrong.
Okay. Anyway,
Basically, hold on. Sorry. The main point is this is nothing. But you're right. If the season starts and the Niners go 1-4, right? He could have never dated the individual ever again, aside from that one time, and we're gonna see pictures of that date in Week 5, talking about did all the media attention go to his head, right? Like, when the reality is he's the same person, the media attention is just different. Anyway, I'm just saying it's nothing.
okay.
I'm not worried. Niner fans shouldn't be worried. I don't think they really are, because they're just happy that we might win more than 3 games.
Right. I mean, the possibility is there, which is why there's all this media scrutiny and
I welcome it.
All right, yeah, that's fair. But
It's better than the media scrutiny being, who are the Niners going to have as quarterback? Can they win 2-3 games? Are they going to draft another person from the? It's better than that.
it is. So with that said, let's move on to just the Niners in general. I'm not going to ask you about, how many games they're going to win this year, because enough people have done that in the sense of, they'll win 8 games, they'll win 6 games, they'll win 10 games, they'll get to the playoffs, they'll win the Super Bowl.
Better question is, what do you think the minimum that they need to win with you being satisfied for the season? Even if they don't make playoffs. What's the minimum they need to win for you to be satisfied? For me, if they finish at least 7-9, I'll be okay. I won't be happy, but I'll be okay knowing that next year, I'm going to expect, the progression, 9-10 wins.
Give me 8.
So basically same.
If they go 500, then sure. I'll be satisfied, not happy, but at least it's not a total wash.
So before we continue on that, here's the next real question. If they make the playoffs, right? Like, beat wild card, beat a divisional. I'm just saying, if they make the playoffs, do you need a win?
No, I don't need a win.
But do you need to be close?
Yeah, as long as it's not a blowout loss.
How big of a blowout would you be bad? But I'm just curious, because if they make the playoffs, my tune changes. Like, if they make the playoffs with 9, 10, 11, however many wins, I need them to win 1 game. In my personal world.
I think it depends on how many games they win. If they get in with, say, 9 or 10 wins, then a loss by, say, 10 points is acceptable. Anything more than that, I'm not okay. I'm not really okay with. But if they get in with
that backdoor sliding,
yeah. But if they get in with 12, like 11 or 12 or more wins, then losing wherever their first game is unacceptable.
Because theoretically, that first game would be at Levi.
Right.
Theoretically. Because you don't know how tough the NFC is going to be this year.
Of course.
Anyway.
But yeah. Well, speaking of that, there's a very good chance that they could get to the playoffs if they can shore up, say, their wide receiver core. Oh, yeah, that's right. There were rumors that they might be going after Julio Jones, who's unhappy in Atlanta right now.
I didn't hear that rumor.
Oh, well, I did. And, it's heating up a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think it's all noise. Kyle Shanahan, of course, would love to have Julio Jones on his team. Who wouldn't?
I mean, on top of that, though, one could argue that Julio's 2 or 3 productive years, most productive years, was under the tutelage of Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know Mike Ryan was there as well, but it was Shanahan's offense.
Right. And I mean, that would be one reason why we should go and get him. Imagine Julio on one side.
What does it cost though?
Well, just humor me for a second.
All right, Julio on one side.
Julio on one side, Pierre on the other, Dante Pettis in the slot, and then you have guys like Trent Taylor and Marquise Goodwin, like in 4 and 5 receiver sets. Imagine the playground.
And
that would be the passing game.
And that's the thing, though. Like, it's only a playground for Jimmy G. If you have someone like Julio on the other side to off-balance the 5 receivers you just said that are probably second receivers at best, and that's Pierre Garçon.
Right.
But what's it going to cost?
See, that's the big question. And I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't be willing to give up a first-round pick, or a second-round pick for that matter.
How old is Julio? 28?
He's up there. He was drafted in 2011.
See here. Well, I've been knowing his age, right?
Right.
Not saying that I don't agree with you in the giving of the first, second round picks and stuff, but you wouldn't give up talent. Mind you, they're all talented. Like, that's unproven. No matter how high the ceiling may be, for Julio Jones. Like, I mean, unless you're guaranteeing me that those first and second round picks are going to turn into like Calvin Johnson or like Julio Jones, like AJ Lee. Sorry, AJ Green.
Oh,
I was in wrestling for a second.
Okay.
AJ Green, or someone like that. Why not? Because like I'm willing to give up Percy Harvin for Julio Jones. I'm willing to give up Marquise Goodwin in the second round. Like a type for Julio Jones that's already proven.
I suppose it all depends on what other needs the Niners actually have. Because if there's talent in the first round or second round, not necessarily a wide receiver, but definitely in a position of need. Let's say, for example, left tackle. Because Joe Staley is not long for this world.
Agreed. But anyway, before I even continue, if you haven't noticed, other than the Lakers, I'm willing to sell the future of all my other teams to get it now. Like, get it now. We need it now. I want it now. I'm sure it's noticeable, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you could get the left tackle of the future, right, for the next 10 years after Joe Staley, I feel like Joe Staley still has a good 3-4 years left as maybe not an elite left tackle, but all pro level.
I suppose.
Top 10 in the league type of left tackle.
And personally, I'd say 2.
But even in those 2 years, would you rather draft a left tackle with the potential to learn in those 2 years in the Joe Staley and potentially become a franchise left tackle, which we know in the draft that's a crapshoot anyway, as opposed to getting Julio Jones already made in his mid to late 20s, looking to win, hungry to win? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, I know history states you build from the inside out, and that means a lot.
You start at the lines, man.
And I know as a Niner fan, we have a long history before Bill Walsh got here, the line was bad. So the team was bad. But what I'm saying is the number 1 left tackle to the number 10 left tackle, it isn't that big of a gap as it used to be.
I don't know, man.
As compared to Julio Jones and the best collegiate receiver out there.
Julio Jones and the best collegiate receiver out there.
Because when Julio came out, he was a freak.
In Shanahan's system.
Agreed. But in every system, you need the stud. Because, yes, the Patriots won without a stud receiver. That's because Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he developed into the guy that doesn't need a star. But not every quarterback's like that. So, yes, it's good to have 3rd and 3, 2nd and 4, 1st and 10, all those guys you can just kind of go to. But we had that last year. And it was great. But there was really no one that you put the corner on, you rotate the safety towards, and the nickel had to kind of pay attention if he's coming across the middle. That's like 2.5 guys right there in Julio Jones. Which makes guys like Marcus Goodwin and all those other guys from good to just above that level. Which, for me, I would give away a future, and this is why I'm not GM, a future left tackle, a 3rd down back that could potentially, come into its own, or anything like that. I'm saying anything other than maybe a franchise quarterback. That's the thing. I just, everyone covets the draft picks, the prospects, and everything, but there comes a time where it's like, we got to give it up to get that proven commodity.
I'm just not sure that the Niners are there yet.
Oh, for sure. Maybe they're not. I'm just saying, if it came up, I would do it just because I would believe that he would re-sign.
And I would be hesitant. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I would be hesitant because I need to see what we have first. And if it's the same old, and you do what you can to trade for Julio Jones.
Right.
Just from the standpoint of the offensive line can protect Jimmy G, and the receivers are doing all they can.
If you took away Jimmy G and the word Niners just now, he sounds like I was talking about the Lakers and LeBron. I'm just saying. Except for, we don't know if Julio can and will not change. Because he's a receiver. He has to.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, on a small little aside, the more I hear from LeBron and the more I hear about the things, I'm coming over.
Okay.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, I figured that would happen eventually.
Hey, the young guys are still there. We didn't trade for Kyle Korver and Ray Allen.
Just wait, though. Hey, as a Kings fan, that's all I can really say.
Hey, if Kyle Korver and Ray Allen become, I don't know, Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson, I'm okay with that. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Niners.
Well, I mean, you did mention Klay Thompson and all those guys. And NBA players especially.
Good transition.
Who have all these guaranteed contracts, right?
That's true.
Speaking of guaranteed contracts, thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Thanks, Kirk Cousins.
How about Baker Mayfield and Todd Gurley this week? They've signed pretty big deals.
They really have Kirk Cousins and his agent to thank because they worked out that Redskins contract where it was 3 years and guaranteed for all the money.
Mm-hmm. I mean, going to the Vikings, but...
Oh, oops. That's what I meant. He
Yeah.
was in the Redskins.
Right. But yeah, I mean, guaranteed contracts are apparently starting to be more of a thing in the NFL where you didn't see this before. The norm would usually be, especially when it comes to unproven talent or people who have to prove themselves again. Let's take Richard Sherman, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of his money in his contract, not guaranteed.
Incentive based.
Yeah. So,
Especially those skill position players like quarterback, receiver, running back, linebacker.
especially running back. But with the amount of money that Todd Gurley is getting, I mean, it's...
I think what I saw from the contracts is they're going to get more money overall, but the shorter number of years is what I see. Because Baker Mayfield got, what, 3-4 years for $60 million? Something like that?
Yeah.
Whereas a normal QB rookie contract, especially for a number one pick, is in the 6 to 7 year range and upwards of almost $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just like kind of baseball, where they kind of revamp the whole free agency and the signing and everything, I think the NFL is going to go in that route where it's going to be more guaranteed money, but less years, so that A, the teams aren't kind of saddled with it, and B, that the players can renegotiate. Because they usually because in those 6-7 year contracts, they renegotiate after 3 or 4 years anyway.
Right.
So it's like they saw the writing on the wall. They're doing that. Now that's the NFL is so good and self-aware part of me. Here's the NFL trying to do some things part of me is they're getting ahead of the CBA. They see what the anthem and the protests and the rules and the Trump and the owners and all this is doing, and all it's really doing is rallying the players in the union to come back and fight hard for these guaranteed contracts. And the CBA doesn't expire for another 2-3 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they're going to get ahead of this now. And the next couple of years, we're going to see more guaranteed contracts with shorter years, so that maybe when the CBA gets renegotiated, even if it changes, they're not going to want that. I mean, they're not going to push for that. That's my. The NFL doesn't really care. They're looking out for their own bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me.
Well, I mean, I don't see why you can't be both.
Oh no, exactly.
And I believe that it's honestly in the player's best interest to get guaranteed contracts, obviously, because we're talking about a sport that has an average shelf life
3.
of what, 3 to 5 years?
Maybe, like at most 5. At most.
At most. And I mean, it's a rough sport. I mean, between the CTE and the, career-ending injuries with whatever it is. I mean, these players put their bodies on the line every single week.
I mean, especially running backs who carry the ball. I mean, forget just running with it, but catching it as well. Almost 250, 400 times a year.
And I feel like they deserve guaranteed contracts more than anybody because they throw themselves into the piles.
Yep.
And I understand the argument because it's been said for the past decade now. Well, running backs are devalued because, if one guy goes down, if your franchise running back goes down, well, there goes like half your offense. That's why we've gone to running back by committee in recent years, because our offenses have been more pertained to cater to that.
And I agree to all those things, but having that develop into a norm almost counters that argument, because then if you have a majority of teams that do running back by committee because they're afraid of the wear and tear, guys like Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell and stuff are at more of a premium. The ones that don't get hurt, the ones that can carry the load, 80, 90% of the time, the ones that can be on the field, and you don't need to put a third down back in. So I get it, but I feel like if you make that argument, you make the case for guys like Todd Gurley, Odell Beckham Jr., like so on and so forth, because they're a cut above those guys you're talking about. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Like, they're the most durable ones. I mean, this was a case for Adrian Peterson until he got hurt.
But how many years into his career did he get hurt? It's not like they gave him a 6-year contract after year 1, and then game 1 of year 2, he blew out his knee and he can't play anymore.
But that's the fear, isn't it?
Oh, of course, but what prevents them from doing that even if you don't give them the guarantee contract?
Well,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not looking out for the player ever. And they don't have to. I get it. They don't have to. But as contentious as the MLB is with their players, the union and everybody against the league, they try to work together. The NBA and their players, they are the best at working together. Mm-hmm. And then here's this, which is like, I mean, I hate to use the term, but it's definitely slave owner, slave mentality in the NFL. Like, what have you done for me lately? Like, it's like Todd Gurley could have 3 back-to-back seasons of 2,500 yards rushing, 15, 20 touchdowns, back-to-back-to-back offensive players of the year, MVP, leading to 3 straight Super Bowls. And then he could get injured in the off season, let's say. Just sheer accident. And he can get cut. And the Rams just carry on. With those titles. With that revenue. With that glory. Like, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been like, oh, I totally get what the teams are saying. Like, it's... The NFL players deserve it. They're finally getting it. Hope it stays. Who knows?
Congratulations. He just made the argument that I actually agree with while I played devil's advocate. But,
fair enough.
I mean, honestly, like, for me, I have always been behind the players getting guaranteed contracts, getting more benefits for the play that they do, because there's been a culture behind owners basically throwing players away after they've used them. When their usefulness is up, see you later. But
Frank Gore to Indianapolis.
And honestly, that shouldn't have to be the case anymore. Like, the NFL needs to figure out a way to benefit their players better than what they're doing right now. Otherwise, we're going to see more of these player protests, more of these contentious debates that will fracture their fan base. Not just politically, but just from a standpoint of lifestyle. I mean, we're talking about, greedy owners versus greedy players, and then it turns into what was that movie with Keanu Reeves and
the Replacements?
The Replacements all over again.
Falco!
And it's funny how in that movie they portrayed the professional players as the bad guys, when honestly I've always thought it was the other way around. But hey, that's just me.
Wait,
look at me.
Way to ruin a comedy, Paulo.
Mr. Liberal, libtard, blah, blah, blah. Over here just talking about how the players deserve more money and benefits. God forbid. Seriously, though, they put their livelihoods on the line every single week. And it could be taken from them like that. Why shouldn't they get more benefits?
That's why in the long run I agree with super teams in the NBA too. Like, players are just kind of dictating their own careers at this point in all sports. And I feel like people are mad about that, not because they don't want players to do that, but because it's something new and kind of scary.
Speaking of new and scary, you know what's coming up in the WWE? Stephanie McMahon actually talked about this the other day. Don't you love? Don't you love these?
I'm pretty good at the transitions today.
Yeah. The introduction of WWE Evolution.
That's the new pay-per-view.
The new pay-per-view, an all women's pay-per-view, which is exciting as hell when you think about it. As not just a wrestling fan, but people, as someone who wants to see more women get into the sport, more women to see equal opportunities and equal time on camera and just equality in general. I think that this is, on the surface, a great step forward.
I'm glad you phrased it that way. Anyway, continue.
Below the surface, I don't know. I mean, you could say that it's pandering. Maybe not. I don't know. But what do you think?
I thought about this for a while because I came across it on Bleacher Report while I was doing something else, and I was like, oh, my first thought was, oh, that's cool, an all-female pay-per-view. That's long overdue, and then I kind of thought about it more, and I'm like, well, it's not necessarily long overdue because while Glow didn't necessarily do pay-per-views, because I'm old enough to remember watching Glow on TV, it's something that they did. They had I think it was like a longer show one day, like one show a month or a couple months to kind of do all of their kind of like tying the storylines together and moving on to the next one. Now, having said that, it's great. I'm looking forward to it. The first one's probably always going to be the best. Any pay-per-view. Like the first WrestleMania, first SummerSlam, first Evolution is going to be good. I just think it's very self-grandizing to come out and almost imply that they're the reason why this is happening. And it's true, it is, because they started it, like the UK tournament, and this tournament, this pay-per-view is going to have the Raw Championship, the SmackDown Championship, the NXT Championship online, the women's, they're going to have the Mae Young Classic Finals on there. I believe Lita and Trish are going to make an appearance, and all the Hall of Famers. And they're going to come. They're going to bring it out. Red carpet, the whole nine, just like WrestleMania 1. I mean, it's great. I applaud it. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of like everything WWE does these days is more to promote WWE than the actual wrestlers themselves. And yeah, I watch too much wrestling. I've been a fan for too long. Whatever. But I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to see what happens after Evolution. Because if Evolution is a vehicle to, say, introduce another brand to WWE TV that's an all-female style wrestling federation like Glow was, based on the kind of the fervor that Glow, the documentary / the mockumentary, whatever, is getting on Netflix, then great. That's awesome. It does help the business. It does help the evolution of women's wrestling. And yes, WWE is very self-aware because they went from the butterfly title to the actual real WWE Championship, Women's Championship belt. But it's like most things that billionaires do to make money. I just want to see what's next before I give them such praise to be like, oh, you're so progressive, yay. You know what I mean? I don't know.
All right, so here's my take on this. I mean, if you haven't seen it already, I implore you, if you have WWE Network and you have a subscription, watch Evolution. Watch their WWE 24s on women's wrestling and the evolution of women's wrestling in the WWE. It's fascinating. And having said all that, I mean, let's go through it. It's just like you remember the 4 Horsewomen coming up with with Charlotte, and Sasha Banks, and Bayley, and Becky Lynch, and the fact that they were the backbone behind this turnaround of 2-minute matches to actual main eventing pay-per-views. And I see it as a great thing. And as much as you can say that, it's kind of shallow because it is basically self-aggrandizing as a company. It's like, let's pat ourselves on the back for being so progressive, especially when it comes to women's wrestling. At the same time, you can't help but think that they have the platform, so you might as well use it. And they are very, as cheap as it is, it's still a platform that everyone sees. And with that in mind, I think it's more of a good thing than a shallow thing.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying, if a WCW existed, right, and they announced this while they're in fierce competition with WCW or another company that's equal to them,
right,
then I would see it almost as a revolutionary move to be like, okay, we're stepping the bar up in this competition. What are you doing next? And it's kind of like the debate we had a week ago about AJ Styles being put in the forefront, and I argued, well, they kind of have to. Like, Brock Lesnar's the other one. Like, you can't not, showcase him. It's almost like, okay, great. And it is great.
It is.
But literally, as a lifelong WWF, WWE watcher, I'm almost like, okay, so you ran out of ideas, so now here's a women's pay-per-view. And it probably isn't that. It probably isn't that at all. But you've had 2 UK tournaments now. This is the third Mae Young Classic?
I think it's the
second. They've had a tag team classic. They've had a cruiserweight classic. What's left? An all-women's pay-per-view. And like I said, I'm not saying that's how they thought about it, but having watched WWE, WWF for a long, long, long time, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the genesis of why they did it.
And I'll just say this to that. I will not minimize your point because it is a very valid one. Because let's face it.
But it's still important.
It is. The point is, though, I don't necessarily see it as, and I'm not saying you do, but I'm not necessarily seeing this as, all right, this is another idea that we could go, because we've already done all this other stuff. We haven't done this yet, so let's do that.
I wouldn't think that, right?
Right. I'm not saying you are. But I think the point is, it's important for it to be part of the progression from where they started, from eliminating all of these pointless 2-minute matches,
bra and panties,
blah blah blah, to get to where they are. This is the next logical step.
I agree. I just, if we hadn't sat at VidCon and listened to the lady tell an audience that they were thinking about tier systems and the next level of getting fan bases to subscribe to the network, everything, I probably would be cool, let's do this. But it just seems to me at this point, it's very coincidental that within the 6 to 8 month window that lady was talking about of looking to maybe tier system the WWE network and how hardcore are real hardcore fans gonna subscribe and what to do, that they're introducing this all women's pay-per-view, which could per se be exclusively, even if they have a brand, to the WWE network, the cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight Classic.
What's the 219 or?
Oh, this the 4-1.
215 live.
The 205 live.
205 live. Sorry, guys. But like that. But they could totally withhold the content to be like. I'm not saying they are. I know this is like a total like. You're looking at the worst possible scenario, and Vince McMahon's looking to just like shill money from everybody, but.
It's a nihilist perspective, and I totally understand it. Look, I'm not even saying you're wrong. My whole thing is, I'm just going to take this at face value for now. As cynical as we can all be about how this will be. I mean, for God's sake, Stephanie McMahon was talking about how to market, philanthropy. For God's sake, philanthropy marketing. That's insanity. But she said it. And as heartless as that sounds, I mean, it is, at the end of the day, a business. And what I want to say is, as much as this is a part of that business, being the next logical step in the women's evolution, and knowing full well that there will be audiences that will eat this up, you just take it for what it is, because
I agree.
Otherwise, we're not getting this stuff from any other promotion.
I'm just giving my opinion.
And I respect your opinion. Hell, I mean, it's not like I don't have that opinion either, but at the same time, just take it.
I'm a wrestling junkie. If the Evolution turns into another brand of wrestling, I will watch. Plain and simple. And I'm just.
And a lot of other people will too.
I'm just trying to keep all of your guys' minds out there a little open to the possibility that it's not always like.
Well, if you don't think that, then I worry for you, because you have to know that a lot of what media does is for eyes to be upon it. So of course, there's that level of cynicism of, well, of course they're going to do this or that or the other thing, because they know that it's going to get a lot of press. Of course.
Having said that, you know what a great segue would be to go to?
What's that?
Is how the trade deadline gets fan bases up in arms, because the press gives you what you think you're going to get, and then your team's something different.
All right, so let's go there then, shall we?
So just to recap here. The big free agent name out there, or the trade name out there, was Manny Machado. Dodgers got him last week. They're 3-3 so far. They're 10-game road trip. So
hey,
who knows?
Like they're not gonna rattle off 7 or 10 in a row.
Fair enough. But recently, I mean, after him, basically it's a pitching market out there, because everyone needs pitching, and it's slow. Recently, I want to say 3 names came off the board, or 4 names came off the board in the last 2 days.
Britton,
he went to the Yankees. And then right after that, Evaldi went to the Red Sox. And then today, J. Happ went to the Yankees. This is like 2006 or whatever all again.
Of course.
And Joakim Soria went to the Brewers. Let's start with the Brewers.
Okay.
Because I feel like the other 2 teams is kind of easy, and then everyone else we're talking about, I think it's going to kind of slot in. But the Brewers are kind of scuffling right now. They've lost the lead in the Central. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, and they lost out on Manny Machado. And all reports saying that they were the second place team in the race behind the Dodgers. The Orioles just kind of coveted Yusniel Diaz and their prospects a little bit more than what the Brewers are offering. Now, in place of that, they didn't get Evaldi, they didn't get Happ, they didn't get Britton. If you're a Brewers fan, are you excited that you got Joakim Soria?
At this moment, probably not. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, they know they're not really going to compete for a championship, are they?
Well, I mean, but I feel like for the Brewers, that's not the point right now. Because last year, they had the Central pretty much in hand. They went on that epic losing streak, and they didn't make the playoffs. I feel like at this point this year, it would be more to just make the wild card or even win the Central. Which, I don't think they're going to win Central because the Cubs are on fire. But
There's still 2 months left. But I see your point. Go on.
And I mean, I guess the main point of that is, if you're a Brewers fan, you should be upset, first of all. But you should be upset because, not because of them getting Soria and not getting Machado, but you should be upset that the Mets are not unloading players, and that the A's are surprisingly good and in playoff contention, and the Seattle Mariners are in playoff contention, and the Padres gave away their 2 best relievers to the Indians. Like, those are the 4 things you should be mad at if you're a Brewer, a Philly, or a Braves fan. 3 teams where kind of, you're not in that power, 3 or 4 market, but you're in contention and your management will get you players. Now, if the A's were doing bad, like, I don't know, Rangers bad, 42-61, instead of at 60-43, one of the hottest teams in baseball, Chapman would probably be up for grabs. Tyrion would be probably up for grabs. They wouldn't have gotten Familia, another reliever in the market. They probably would be, maybe not Piscotty because his mom is there, but a lot of their offensive stars like Chris Davis and stuff were probably up for grabs. And if the Mets weren't the Mets and caring about not mortgaging their future or not mortgaging their present because they think they have a future, DeGrom would be out there, Syndergaard would be out there. I think Matt's got traded, if I'm not mistaken. But the market is very bare. And so I think that's why teams like the Red Sox and the Yankees are like, let's scoop up whoever's out there so that, like, the Indians and whoever aren't going to get them. So if you're a Brewers fan, I feel like, I'm not satisfied with Joakim Soria, but they did something. I don't know.
But doing something isn't necessarily the greatest thing. Just ask the Giants, man. I mean, like, they're hit and miss when it comes to the trade deadline. 2012. What do? They go and grab Hunter Pence.
Oh, I wanted Hunter Pence.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted.
And then what happened in that year? Oh, that's right. They won the World Series. 2013. They did the same thing. They went out in the trade deadline. They traded one of their best pitching prospects to get... Wait, who the hell did they get?
Jake Petey?
No. That was 2014. 2013 was... who was it? Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking of 2011. Yeah. It was the slugger for... who I think plays on the Cardinals now.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
I know who you're talking. I can't think of the name.
Yeah. It's crazy that I forget his name. His name escapes me right now. But that didn't work out so well for them because they ended up missing the playoffs. And then they also gave up a pretty good pitching prospect who admittedly now isn't that good. Zach Wheeler is, I don't know where he is now.
The Mets.
Is he still on the Mets?
He's their 3rd starter, I believe, behind Syndergaard and...
And then Carlos Beltran, that's his name, left after the 2011 season because, he was a free agent and he ditched us. But, that's okay. Look, the trade deadline can work in all sorts of ways for you. But you just got to be, I guess, prudent about it. You have to be smart to find the right players for your system. And it looks like, teams like the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Dodgers even, giving you guys credit, found some of those players that will help them in the postseason because they're obviously getting the postseason. It's just a matter of how far they're going to get. So, I don't know. Yeah, did the Brewers help themselves? We'll see, but I don't know.
I think MLB is the most susceptible to be trapped in that, like, who's your prospect market.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's all about years of control and the salary and how cheap are you getting that player for X amount of years. And which is why Archer right now, even if he's had a couple of bad years, he still has like 4 years of control by the Rays. He's a hot trade commodity. But if you're the Rays, you want maybe not a Manny Machado haul, but you want something close.
Yeah.
One top 100 player, at least 3 or 4 people in Double-A, Single-A that have a chance of moving in.
Something that will help you rebuild.
And the thing about the Rays is they're unique in that they probably won't, like the Orioles, they probably won't ask for an already proven major leaguer in the deal. And which brings me to the one and only question I have about the trade deadline after we kind of went over all that. Do you think they trade Chris Archer this year? This trade deadline? Because he has like 3, maybe 4 years of control left, which is ridiculous.
Honestly, in the position that they're in right now, I think they hold on to it.
Why? Like, are they in contention for the wild card? Is the real question.
Oh God.
Are they not in the East? You know what I mean? Like, but those are very important questions when, as a franchise, you're looking to keep a guy like Chris Archer. Like, is that window of 3 years gonna be where you win like 105 games and maybe make the ALCS? You know what I mean? Like, I know, I'm greedy. I want him as a Dodger. And I want Ken Barakaka, or whatever his name is.
Oh, that's why you think Chris Archer should be.
No, but not.
Oh, wow.
Not just that, but he definitely has more value being traded than not.
I suppose. It's just that I feel like the Rays don't have very many commodities at the moment, and honestly, if they want to be sellers, they can be. I just don't think that they should be yet. Personally, I think that the Giants, as much as some people are saying, shouldn't be.
Well, I was also
not yet.
I was also mistaken. Ryan Yarborough is not the guy from the Miami Marlins, so you can't have him in the package. But the Giants shouldn't be sellers. No, I'm a Dodger fan. I hate the Giants, but they shouldn't be sellers. I mean,
are you saying that because you don't want them in contention, or are you saying that as a genuine feeling that they can probably move forward as a team at least for this season?
Both.
Okay.
Obviously, the main reason I don't want you guys to be sellers is like you have a penchant of getting guys that just fit right in and spark the rally, and that's that. But more on top of that, like the prospects that you guys have are coveted by you guys. Like there aren't many, from what I haven't read much, but like I haven't seen many articles where the prospects in your system, aside from, I forget his name, but he made the Futures game, aside from the one guy, isn't like necessarily a Major League Baseball like on a wish list. And so if you give away someone to maybe let's say rebuild a little bit, you're going to have to give away someone like Belt or like a Crawford or like a Pence or, not Posey, but someone like that. So in the long run, I feel like if you traded and were sellers or even buyers and you sell within the system, it would be almost a unilateral move and not a forward move unless you got someone like a DeGrom, a Syndergaard, Manny Machado, something like that.
And my whole thing is, I don't really feel like they should be sellers yet, but that's only because they should be sellers soon. And the reason I say that is, I don't know if this particular team, strapped with the money that they are and equipped with the minor league system that they have, are really going to be contenders anytime soon. And I mean, as much as I would like them to sell, now is not a good time, because what are they going to get back? Like let's just
like I said, it's gonna be a unilateral move. It won't be like a progression of like forward.
It wouldn't even even if the Giants said screw it, let's rebuild now. Okay, that means you're getting rid of guys like McCutcheon, you're getting Pence, you're a Crawford, a Belt, a Panda, and then you're going into the treasure trove, Madison Bumgarner, Buster Posey. But if they're all on the table, who could we realistically get back that would improve the team, or at least improve their farm system to the point where 4, 5, 6 years from now, we might be a playoff team again. We might be a World Series.
I mean, for Posey or Bumgarner, I would definitely demand 2 top 100 prospects, like 2 or 3 prospects in the lower levels that have a chance of being in the 100, and then 1 major league ready player.
And who has those kinds of systems? The Yankees.
And the other team that would have it is the Dodgers, and they wouldn't probably give you that.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of a rough sell, even if you were willing to just blow everything up. So that's why I say don't sell everything now. Give the market a little more time to give you better options in the future. And that sounds heartless because the Giants are all about paying their own guys and being, the good old boys and the club that, sticks together and stuff. But if we're realistic in what we want as a franchise moving forward, we have to at least entertain the thought of trading our best assets.
True.
In the future.
I have a bright side for you guys and all that, though.
What's that?
You guys got 3 rings to mortgage the future if you have to trade away the present.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts me to say that at all, but, like I told someone the other day, if the Mets really wanted to get rid of DeGrom, in a heartbeat, I would have the Dodgers trade Jock Peterson, Walker Buehler, and Verdugo, and then 3 other lower-level deal guys for DeGrom and Cabrera. I would just do it. And like I said, it's mortgaging the future. But it's been 30 years.
And there you go. Well, I think we need to wrap this up now.
I think that's a good place to wrap up.
It is a good place to wrap up. So, with all that said, any final thoughts?
Well, I hope the WWE knows what they're doing. I trust them because as an entertainment company, it's not a sports league, so they're going to have money interest first, so it's going to be a good thing no matter what happens, really. And on top of that, we'll see what happens in a week when we come back again next week. The non-waiver trade deadline will have passed. It'll be about 2 days past it, so any deals that were done at the deadline should be final by then.
All right, then.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully the Dodgers got some pitching.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to training camp. I'm just happy that the NFL season is technically officially started.
By the way, this could be once again my golden year. 30 years ago in 1988, Notre Dame won a title, the Niners won a title, the Lakers won a title, and the Dodgers won a title. I don't know about the Lakers, and I certainly don't know about the Niners, but they're both potentially playoff teams. Notre Dame, potentially a top 10 team. And then there's my Dodgers.
And I will be rooting like hell for all those Los Angeles teams tonight. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know about a sign off. Peace out, sports fans.
I know. If you like what you saw, click subscribe, click like, make a comment, share with your friends. We're also on Instagram at SecondHand Sports YouTube channel and on Twitter and Facebook page.
You'll know where to find us eventually. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out. I swear to God, if that hasn't been... Okay. If that hasn't been recorded the whole time, I think I might murder something.